Today we're going to be multiplying to divide 3-digit by 1-digit numbers using the array or area model. We're going to begin with 216 divided by 9 to determine what our quotient is. So we're going to use familiar groups of the divisor, which is 9, in order to build up to our dividend, 216. So we know 9 is our divisor, and we're going to use familiar groups of 9 until we can build up to a full area of 216. So I know that 9 times 10 will give me 90. So of my 216, I have currently found 10 groups of 9, which gives me 90. And let's see how much more we need to figure out. So we have 6 minus 0 is 6. I can't do 1 10 take away 9 tens, so I have to trade one of my hundreds for 10 tens. So now I'll have 11 tens and only 100. 11 tens minus 9 tens is 2 tens. 100 minus 0 hundreds is 100. So now I have to figure out the remaining area of 126. So I can pull out another 10 groups of 9, which is another 90. Subtract that from our remaining area. 6 minus 0 is 6. Again, I can't do 2 tens minus 9 tens, so I need to regroup or trade. I can do 12 tens, take away 9 tens, which will give me 3 tens. Now I have 0 hundreds. So I have 36 left as my remaining area that I need to determine, and I know that 9 times 4 is going to give me 36. So the last piece of my array is going to be 4. 9 times 4 will give me 36. So now I have 90 plus 90 plus 36, which gives me 216. And I look up here and I see all of the different parts that I used. I used 9 times 10 plus 9 times 10 plus 9 times 4. So my quotient is going to be 10 plus 10 plus 4, which equals 24. Therefore, 216 divided by 9 equals a quotient of 24. Now I'm going to use the inverse operation of multiplication to determine if I was accurate with my division. So I'm going to multiply 24 times 9 in order to make sure I was correct. So what I'm going to do here is use a strategy. There are multiple different ways I can solve this, including the standard algorithm, but I'm going to model another one of our strategies known as the over strategy. So for the over strategy, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a friendlier number or group of numbers in order to determine my product. So instead of doing 24 times 9, I'm going to do 24 times 10. Because that's just one more group of 24, and I know it's going to be much more efficient for me to do 24 times 10 and get 240. So now I have 240 from my 10 groups of 24, but I'm only looking for 9 groups of 24, so I'm going to take away one group of 24 in order to determine my product. Now what I'm going to do is subtract. So I can't do 0 minus 4, so what I'm going to do is regroup, and I'm going to take one of my tens and trade it for 10 ones. So now instead of having 4 tens, I'll have 3. So 10 ones minus 4 ones is 6 ones. 3 tens minus 2 tens is 1 10. 2 hundreds minus 0 hundreds is 2 hundreds. So I got 216, which was my original dividend. So I did accurately solve for my quotient of 24. Let's try another example together of multiplying to divide using the array or area model. So here we have a dividend of 792, and we're dividing it by a divisor of 8 in order to determine what our quotient is. Take a minute now to try and set up how you would begin to solve this problem. For me, I'm going to start with my divisor of 8, and I'm going to find a little bit larger than just 10 groups of 8, and I'm going to go with 50 groups of 8. So I know that 8 times 5 gives me 40. Multiply it by another 10 is going to give me 400. So of my total area of 792, or my total dividend of 792, I have found 50 groups of 8, which gives me 400. So let's figure out how much more I still need to find. So I'm still looking for an area now of 392. Now, figure out what's another group of 8 how many groups of 8 can you use now to get to as close to 392 of your total area as possible? I'm going to go with 40 groups of 8. Because I know that 8 times 4 will give me 32. Multiply it by another 10 will give me 320. So now I have 320, and I'm going to take that from my total area remaining of 392. So now I'm looking for a remaining area of 72. And I know that 8 times 9 is going to give me that remaining area of 72. So I'm going to add that in to my array model. 8 times 9 will give me 72. So when I add up all these areas, I'm going to get my dividend of 792. So to determine what my quotient was, I'm going to look at all the different groups of 8 that I added together, 50 plus 40 plus 9, to give me a quotient of 99. Let's double check our work using the inverse operation of multiplication. So I'm going to multiply 99 times 8 in order to determine if I get the accurate product, which in this case would be 792. And instead of doing the standard algorithm, which I could, I'm going to use, again, our over strategy, because it's going to be more efficient for me. Because I know I can do one more group of 8 and get 100 groups of 8, which will give me 800. And then I can just take away one group of 8. And I know that 800 minus 8 is going to give me 792.